Welcome back. Today I'm just redrawing some old OC drawings that I found in my files the other day. So when I saw these drawings, I was like, damn, these really suck. I gotta redraw them. So here I am redrawing my persona. This was her old design, and right now I really don't like it. It was basic, and there was nothing really interesting about her other than her eye and short hair. Even though I really wanted to, I didn't redesign the characters in each speed paint because I wanted them to remain true to their original designs, just for nostalgia's sake. And I also plan on making a video redesigning all of them, and there's way more characters than the two I'm just showing in this video. Since the pose in the original picture was simple, I didn't struggle too much on figuring out how to pose her. And the colors were pretty basic. There wasn't anything like too extreme going on. The shading was, if you can even call that, was relatively light. I'd like to think that my anatomy and my art style has certainly improved over the years. Like, looking at how I used to draw noses, before they would just be a line, and now I can actually do the full, like, shape. And the way I would draw eyes would be, like, way too big for the head, and everything was disproportionate. And looking at my style now, everything seems a lot more proportional. And I think the most helpful thing in my art journey has been taking photos and tracing their bodies. And basically break it down into small shapes so that now I can actually use the guidelines how they're supposed to be used. Another tip I found helpful was learning about color theory and blocking. So you would take your reference and block out different shapes, but not like how you would like trace over shapes. You would color it in so that you can basically just have that as a guideline as well. So this is my character Emerald. Emerald is not a character that I use a lot anymore. She was more of a supporting character for a few other ones. I don't remember too much about her story and her role, but she was one of the three main sisters. It was this whole gacha series that I had on an old YouTube channel called Aquatic Adventures. I was really obsessed with Atlantis when I was little. So the whole story ended up taking place underwater in Atlantis. And the main character, who ironically was named Ocean, I wasn't that creative with names, I was like 8. She was the general of Atlantis, and her sisters were the main rulers of it. And from what I remember, Emerald got the short end of the stick, and she ended up being an advisor for her older sisters. I remember her character being constantly tired and just done with everything in general. Also, they were all part wolf for some reason, and I think Ocean had wings, which I don't remember the design thought process behind that. Anyhow, since Emerald was the advisor, she was the one who had to take most of the burdens. Whenever her sisters had a conflict, she had to be the messenger bird between them. And whenever the citizens of Atlantis wanted a hearing, she was the one who had to deliver the speeches and to calm the people down. But yeah, despite Emerald being a minor character in Aquatic Adventures, she was the backbone for everyone, which I don't know why I put so much burden on one single character. Later in the series, there is an event that happens, either a war or something, and she ends up leaving the palace. And this is Lion! Again, not that creative with names, I was 8. His character was a soldier for hire due to having connections into the palace, aka his lover was one of the princesses. The whole relationship dynamic was grumpy x Sunshine. There was not much to his character other than I'm a tough guy. That's it. One issue I had with the old designs is that their skin tone was extremely light for people that were living underwater. I personally think with the sun's reflection hitting the water that they would all be like really tan, or at least have darker skin. So I experimented a bit with Lion. Since he had blonde hair, I figured he might as well have a bit of a lighter complexion, but I still gave him a little bit of tan. There wasn't much thought process behind that, I just really did not like his old design. And honestly, I think out of all the characters, I think Lion is gonna have the biggest redesign. I always had an issue with Lion's design because he looked very similar to another character that I had, and I wanted to make sure that they weren't related for the sake of the story, and they looked related, so that was a bit of an issue. Lion is like a cardboard box character. There wasn't much to him other than him only knowing violence and his wife. Again, I wasn't that creative at 8 years old, and most of the characters are just supporting characters for the main leads. Comparing this to a different world that I have called Unknown Eternity, this storytelling is horrible. In Unknown Eternity, where I'll make a separate video about, there's so much more storytelling and world building, and each character has a distinct backstory, motivations, and dreams. I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. The Q&A video will be out in approximately 2 weeks, so stick around for that.